It's that time again.
Is it? Okay.
Okay,
Good.
so cut the first 15 seconds of this recording. Don't put that in. Johnny, tell us your mayonnaise story.
I was sitting down, and
in the mayonnaise position.
there was some mayonnaise nearby,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't remember it being there, and I didn't see it, so I wasn't thinking about it. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about mayonnaise when it's not nearby. And I put my finger in it.
Okay.
I feel like every sentence of that is worth a conversation, but go on, Leon.
Johnny, when it happened, did you say, uh-oh, mayonnaise? Because I feel like that would be a great catchphrase.
No, I believe the first thing I said was, Austin, I put my finger in some mayonnaise.
This actually reminds me, we got a couple of questions related to this.
Okay.
Related somehow.
Do we want to start with questions early just because we have a segue?
I'm a little taken aback that somebody has already asked questions about this incident before it even had a chance to unfold for me.
Johnny's place is bugged.
No, I'm scanning the questions, and we're not doing the whole section now. Just everybody roll with me. We got two questions, I think, that are relevant to this. One is Rick Armstrong, who asks, is it a bad thing that Johnny makes sense to me?
Well, Rick, first of all, I think it's unfair that you put this as a moral quandary upon yourself, as it being good or bad that I make sense. I think what we should probably rephrase is soothing or troubling. Because on the one hand, it can be a soothing experience to know that you're not alone in this universe. It can be troubling when you learn that only other person that you are not alone with in this universe is massively disturbed.
And just rubs mayonnaise all over their body.
There was no rubbing on the body.
Not this time.
There was maybe a little bit of dabbing at most. And not like dabbing as you kids are like dabbing, but like,
I still don't know what that means.
I really need to see Johnny dab. It's very important to me.
Johnny
Leon,
doesn't
Google.
dab. I mean, Johnny dabs, but only with mayonnaise, and only in like a sense that formerly makes.
I just can't get the image out of my head of Johnny dabbing. It's like everything to me right now. The other question was...
Hang on, let me flip this half-full water bottle.
The other question was from King Fluffles, who asks, what's with the hatred of Johnny's rambling / stories? I think if you listen to enough of this show, you kind of get the sense that we like trolling each other. It's just kind of our sense of humor. So I don't think it's like genuine dislike of his stories so much as it's just funnier.
Shtick.
Yeah, it's funnier than just sitting quietly and listening. So I like to sometimes
past
jump in and
experience has shown that if you sit quietly and listening, I don't stop.
Which is fine for a normal human conversation. Maybe not an internet thing where people show up and are like, I would like this to have a point.
No,
I don't know.
It's not even fine for a normal human conversation.
Okay.
Envision yourself like on the basketball court, Austin, after you have just finished playing a game of horse. And then one of your co-athletes comes up to you and says, Yo, Austin, I gotta tell you this really weird story. The other day, I was sitting at my desk, and I put my finger in mayonnaise. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a weird thing to just consciously do, but bear with me here. This story gets way better.
And then I would just savagely dunk on you. Because we're on the basketball court, apparently.
Well, it's, I would expect you to.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't
as
be
is
fazed.
custom.
I gotta tell you, because ever since the beauty of virtual reality, I now understand what it is like to be dunked on. And
How was
then
it?
I would be like, that was a weak dunk, son. I've seen better.
Damn. That's pretty rude. Leon, you normally start these shows with like a thing that you were thinking about earlier, and then you try to pass it off as like a casual intro. Do you have one of those?
Yeah, I do, but it's too late now. I do have like two like stories like about either my life or things adjacent to my life that might be interesting for people to hear. But my joke, I feel like the time has passed. I'll use it another week.
Or you could just sneak it in later when we're not expecting it.
I don't know, Leon.
Yeah.
Will it go bad?
No, it's actually a very timeless joke.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
I worry about the freshness of your jokes.
That's fine. So fresh. So fresh.
Just
All right,
the way you said that's fine, like it totally wasn't fine, is amazing. That's one of my favorite deliveries. There's a part in Hamilton where he says, "Why are you so upset?" And then Lin-Manuel Miranda says, "I'm not," in the most upset voice I've ever heard. It's beautiful. Sorry, I've just gone on. Leon, what were you saying?
No, okay. So, as people know, my main job is what I do on the internet. But I have another job that I'm sort of phasing out right now because I don't need it anymore. My financial situation is picked up, and that's good. But I still go there occasionally. In a few days, I'll only go there once a week.
Just
but
to
when I am
hang
there,
out?
No, to make extra money, basically, so I can go to conventions. I mean, I make enough to get by now, which is nice, but I like having a little on the side, just in case something goes wrong, or if nothing goes wrong, to use it for something fun.
I see. So, in other words, you get paid under the table.
No, I'm gonna work there one day a week.
That's a thing?
Yeah, I mean, if it's a part-time job, I don't have another full-time job. I have.
I mean, no,
I
it wasn't. Yeah, I'm trying to rack my brain to imagine like a place that you could work where they're like, yeah, once a week is fine.
They're not happy about it, but they basically are desperate for work. They need people to fill shifts, and I'm like, I will continue to work here one day a week because I wouldn't hate myself doing it anymore.
It's not a brothel, is it?
No, it's just a shitty job that I'm comfortable doing. I will be comfortable doing one day a week and still feel like I'm barely there, so I will be okay with it.
Is
it
like an arm wrestling referee?
No, it doesn't matter what it is. I've literally never explained what I do part-time. It doesn't matter.
It just occurred to me that Canada must have like an entirely different labor situation. Like, you guys don't have like at-will employment, do you? That's crazy.
I don't believe we do.
That's banana sauce.
I think that in order to be dismissed from a job, there needs to be like a very specific series of things that have to happen. Like
That's some socialist bullshit. What if I just want to fire you for no reason?
You need to be like written up, and like they can't just walk in and be like you're fired, or else they owe you like severance and stuff like that.
What if you're
well,
gay?
I mean, we
then they owe you
gay,
like
and I want
double
to fire
severance.
you.
They owe you hetero and gay severance. Then
we have things like that in America in the sense that if you are, you can get unemployment if you are fired without good cause, for example. They think, or just laid off. You know,
Depends
that's just
on the state.
Right, it does. I know. It's way more complicated than that. I'm just trying to explain.
But I mean, as I understand it up here, like it goes like this: is that you walk into a place, and they say, "Hey, we kind of expect you to be here on these days," and you go, no, that doesn't work for me," and then they say, "Well, that's what we need," and you go, "No," and then they say, "Okay, well, how about you get another job?"
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but when there are, let's say, labor shortages, and some people say, "Yes, I will work for your place since you're looking for people to fill up shifts. I can work there like 2 days a week."
Okay.
They say, "Well, we need people to do it, so there you go."
All right.
And that's
so. In other words, you have leverage in this place.
I have I don't have leverage. I just they're
no.
They don't
I mean,
like,
you
they don't
have leverage in the sense that they need workers, and you're like, I can provide work, but only this much.
Exactly.
So that
exactly.
leverage.
Yes.
So you do have leverage.
In a matter of
Are
speaking,
you an arm wrestler then?
Oh my God! I've gotten so far away from. Hold on, please. I've gotten so far away from this story.
Okay, go back.
There is a place I go to that is not in the city. That's all you really needed to know. I just, for some reason, went on a tangent. There's a place a couple counties over that I go to. And because it's a couple counties over and not in Baltimore City, there are Trump supporters, which is normally not a big deal. I don't care, at this point. I mean, he's going to lose. So I've just stopped caring. He's a piece of shit and he's going to lose. So anyway, not the point. The point is this. There's a ranch right across the street. from a place that I work very, very rarely, and the person has a fence, on his at the border of his ranch, and on also on the border of his ranch
Property
is a what?
I'm sorry. No, this fence, does it it faces public land, I'm assuming? Like
Yeah.
a road or something?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right.
And on his ranch, like next to the fence, is a gigantic Trump "Make America Great Again" sign, which is entirely his right. I mean, I see them from time to time. It doesn't fill me with anger. I've gotten over it. Unless he wins, then I'll just hate him forever. But anyway, I pass it and I'm like, whatever. I'm not too terribly surprised by this. But then the other day, I noticed that someone had vandalized it. Someone, instead of just spraying all over it or burning it to the ground or something, someone just took a black spray paint can and filled in the word Trump. And since it's a navy blue background, it's really hard to see. So you pass by it and you barely see what it says. You have to look really closely. It just looks like a dark sign and at the very bottom it says "Make America Great Again." Who's going to? We don't know anymore because someone vandalized it.
I'll do it.
Thanks. And I just kind of giggled. And I'm like, that's not cool, but I guess it's kind of funny to me. Don't vandalize people's property regardless of your political persuasion. It's not cool. But that's not the end of the story. Otherwise, it wouldn't be much of a story. Then a couple days later, the owner of the ranch, I guess, was a little peeved by this and took out a white spray paint can and filled it back in, kind of. Except he's not much of an artist, so it looks like the letters look like it's not. You know how kindergartners don't actually write, but how movies make it look like they write. How they're just a way too sideways and scrawled and really poorly
Was the
drawn.
R in Trump backwards?
No, but in every other way, it looked like a child drew it with a crayon. But he might not be an expert in spray painting like the Vandal. So the Trump letters were back. And I'm like, well, I guess he got them. And then I thought that was over, but it was not. And then a few days later, someone, I assume the same person, but definitely, could be someone else, came back and in orange paint wrote "sucks" under Trump. So it's okay, they're having a war. This is neat. There's nothing he can do about that. And then a couple days later, the rancher took out a black spray paint can again and filled in "sucks" so you can barely see it. So I have two questions about this. What can be done next to top it? And the second question is more for Austin. Does this count as multiple crimes? If let's say the rancher is I've had it, and I put up all these no trespassing signs. By the way, this guy has a lot of no trespassing signs on his property. He's one of those guys. You know how if you're in a residential zone, you kind of expect that if you need to make a 3-point turn, you have to gently nudge into someone else's driveway and then pull out, and it's not a big deal, and everyone is super okay with it. This guy is one of the guys who has a sign that says "Do not trespass on my driveway," because he doesn't want anyone to be able to make a 3-point turn on his property for 2 seconds. He's one of those. So he probably has, firearms, which makes the Vandal that much braver and also completely foolhardy. This is a terrible idea on your part. But let's say that instead of shooting someone, the rancher just sets up a camera and catches the person doing it and has evidence, and the person is arrested. Now, would this be enough to charge this person with multiple counts of vandalism, since this happened several times over the course of a couple of weeks? Or would it only be considered once because it's the same sign? Also, would they be able to even prove it was the same guy if you only caught him doing the last one?
So there's a lot of questions there.
I know. I've been thinking about this a lot.
Yeah. I was actually going to say earlier, before we let you circle back to your question, that since so much depends on what state you're in, that I think I should probably just get this out now. The two things to keep in mind when I do Austin's legal corner is A, don't take any of this advice literally. I'm just learning this stuff. Please don't don't like go out and do some shit because you heard me say it was okay. And two, I'm learning American law, and America is actually like 50 totally different places, just like loosely stapled together. I know we have a lot of like international listeners, and I'm not sure what your idea of America is. Like if it's just like one thing with LA on one side and New York on the other. But no, it's like part of the reason America is such a political shit show is because like there's a ton of different and disagreeing cultures here. And so, yeah, like if you were in the rural South where they take land very seriously and will kill each other over stepping on each other's land, I bet they have much stricter trespassing laws than in somewhere like chill. I mean, everyone knows about Florida's stand your ground rule.
Yeah.
It made the news sometimes back, which is what that essentially says is, and normally when you're like in someone's like area, it's not like you have to use reasonable force to get them out of your area, right? So if they're just going to punch you, you can only punch them back. But in Florida, it's if there's certain situations in which just their presence is considered like lethal to you, which sounds like crazy, but like if someone just like walks into your home or something, you don't have to have any proof that they are a threat to you, and you can just open fire because it is assumed that they're there for like lethal purposes, which is, I mean, it sounds crazy on its face, and that's why very few states have it. But like, this is in Maryland. I don't know Maryland's rules. I doubt they assume anything like that bad about trespassing, although it does sound like trespassing. So, I mean, what's probably the worst that could come out of here? I don't know that anyone would be willing to pursue criminal charges against this guy for this. Maybe like a civil suit for destroying his sign, depending on the price of it.
It probably does not cost that much, despite the size.
That sounds like small claims court / just getting like a nominal award to have it on record, because it's hard to get like a job with a conviction or something, like if you lose litigation. So it might, maybe just to stick it to him, you take him there, get awarded $5, and then he has to tell employers that it happened to him. But yeah, I mean,
that would be a hilarious job interview.
So the answer is yes, you would get in trouble if you go onto someone's land and do shit to their stuff. Like you can't, you're not allowed. But it's like the owner of the land would need to take the initiative. I don't think the police are gonna like look for this guy.
Yeah, but Austin, as I understand it from the internet, if anybody makes any like reasonable attempt whatsoever to shut down your expression, it's censorship, brah. So like freedom of speech.
Unless it was Joe Biden sneaking onto this guy's land and defacing his Trump sign.
Okay,
what if it was
Joe Biden? What if it was Joe Biden sneaking onto his land to deface a Trump sign with the Wu-Tang Clan?
That sounds like something they would do. That sounds like a ruckus they would raise.
Joe Biden and the Wu-Tang Clan is a solid contender.
Like, can you just imagine them slamming PBRs in the back of a pickup, just going around rural Maryland looking for Trump signs to paint? Like, fuck, Joe Biden is so cool in this imagination land I've invented.
Yeah. Anyway, that's
what was the other part of that question?
Oh, I was thinking, like, because this had kept happening, I was like, wait a minute, if this person is charged with something, would it be multiple times? But based on what you said before, it looks like he would just be looking at a fine, not a fine like doubled or tripled.
If he's only destroyed the one sign, you can't like double damages on it. And like trespassing, like the main remedy is like getting the person off. And so if they leave, like you can't like double eject them. So.
Yeah.
I'll find a way.
Like I said, it may depend on Maryland's specific laws, but
sure.
I'll find a way, Austin. I'm going to make America great again one way or another, and the first way I'm going to do that is by discovering the double eject.
Okay. They just send you twice as far as you went.
Yeah.
There's some New York long arm statute we were talking about how if something was like made in another state and then sent to New York and cause damage, like this, you could be served in the other state. It's boring, but the image it immediately summoned to my mind was someone in New Jersey with a catapult, just like shooting shit.
I'm just thinking that like ejection from the property would have to involve maybe a couple more dimensions or something. As opposed to just like moving somebody along the X and Z axis, be like, and we're also going to drop you out of a plane. I mean, but not like to die, like give them a parachute.
I like Johnny's idea of land laws in which we must make use of verticality in ways that the founding fathers never intended.
And then, of course, once time travel becomes a thing, it'll be like, also, 2 days into the future, so you miss your dentist appointment.
Johnny's the best. Do you guys want me to talk more about law stuff? Because I have a couple topics, or do you want to hear Leon's other thing, or does Johnny have a thing? Who has stuff?
I don't really have a thing. I just had a stomach.
You had a stomach.
I had an
it's gone.
abdominal episode.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know what it was.
Oh,
but
is it gone
hurt
now, or is it gone now? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there's still kind of like weird aftershocks. It's like phantom pain, kind of just like lingering around in my belly, and I'm not really sure if it's like,
It's the worst Hideo Kojima game.
If it's like a distant letter from the stomach pain I was getting that's like, I'll be back. But yeah, no, like last night I seriously, like I was lying in bed. I couldn't breathe properly because my abdomen was hurting so much. I was just like clutching at myself, making like really, really whiny crying noises. Like I was whimpering. I have seen puppy dogs like much tougher than I was last night.
I like to think that like alien anthropologists will dig up this podcast one day and then piece together Johnny's unique physiology from like all of his issues he's had over the run. I guess going back to the BT podcast with the hedgehog voice incident and the butt camera, or no, it's penis camera that you got and stuff. Like there's just like this unique cluster of symptoms that I don't know have any like connection to normal humans, but for you, like maybe you've uncovered some new syndrome.
I don't know.
The Maloney syndrome.
I haven't had any other penis problems.
That is so good to hear. You have no idea what a weight that lifts off of me, Johnny.
Listen, it's something that you worry about.
Uh-huh.
No,
I believe you.
It's like particularly with the prostate because nobody knows.
It's mysterious.
I was like, what is the prostate? And it's like Google, and even Google was like, I don't know.
Thanks, G.
I was like,
you did it.
What? It was like, well, you can tickle it sometimes, and that feels good, apparently. I was like, yeah, but what about if it's just like making fluid and it hurts? Okay. Yeah, Google's got no idea. In fact, like that's when people say that they have prostate surgery, apparently, it's like, yeah, I had to have part of my prostate removed. Like I learned that was because they were like, yeah, we don't really know what's going on, so we're just going to take it out.
Yeah, medicine is an art as much as it is a science.
Apparently so. Yeah, so I had like really just terrible, and not even like shooting pains, not even like intermittent pains, but like just a constant like drum of pain, like a I don't know, like a 20-minute Godspeed You Black Emperor drone song of pain that like started really slow, and I was like, what is this? What? I'm not sure about. And then it just like hit its stride, and I was like, I don't like this.
It trips me out that Godspeed You Black Emperor is Canadian because they're like on paper like the least Canadian thing, but I don't know that anybody listening cares. Leon.
Oh yeah, I have a thing.
Yeah.
I briefly had a cat. What happened was I was gonna walk a couple blocks down the street at night, which is never a good idea in Baltimore. But I'm like, at this point, I've seen everything. And I got to my stoop, and there was a tiny black kitten just like sitting there meowing at me, and I was like, oh, all right, this is new. And I looked over and saw some people, and it says, is this your kitten? And they're like, no. I'm like, do you know whose it is? They're like, no. I'm like, oh, this is a stray. But usually when I see strays, they're like full-grown cats who had just been living on the streets of Baltimore for a while. You know, hardened, tough Baltimore cats. This is just a kitten that must have just got left behind by a cat that gave birth and was like, I'm not taking care of all of these, not in this city. And this, like, not in particularly healthy shape, like, thin kitten is like on my stoop. And I'm like, I can't take care of a cat. I don't know what to do. So I'm like, all right. I was just like confused about what I'm supposed to do in this situation. I'm like, I guess I'm going to go pick up my carry-out. And I did. And then I came back, and the kitten was like gone from the stoop, but I could still hear her. And there was just some meowing. And I'm like, where are you now? And I just went, pss, 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 and, tried to get the kitten to come out. And it was behind like a plant that someone had put in the street. And it walked up to me, and I was like, I guess I'm letting you inside, because if I don't, then I'm the asshole who let a kitten die. So I let the cat inside. And my downstairs neighbors, I live in an apartment building that's really just 2 apartments. And my downstairs neighbors came out, and I said, is there any chance that this is your cat? I'm like, no. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm taking my cat up to my apartment. So I did, and I didn't really know what to do, because it's been a long time since I've had like an animal in my home, especially a cat. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? And at that exact moment, my ex-wife called, because we're going to see a movie later this week. And I said, hey, I have a cat. Like, what am I supposed to do? Do I feed this thing tuna? And she, because I have tuna. And she's like, no, just like chicken, but not breaded. And I just got back from getting chicken tenders. So
Does that need to be specified, Leon, my dude? Were you going to give him chicken tendies?
I did.
No, with the breading on?
No, I took off the breading.
So I'm saying, did it need to be specified? Were you going to give him breaded chicken?
All right. It is important, because apparently you're not supposed to give the breaded part of the chicken to the cat.
I'm aware. I'm asking if you needed that clarified.
I did, because I don't want anyone to feed breaded chicken to kittens because of something I said.
Never mind.
On a podcast.
Never mind.
What would happen if I gave bread to chickens? I mean, kittens with chicken.
I think it's bad. I think they don't digest it well or something.
Okay.
I think it's like one of those things, like you don't give raisins to certain animals, and
right.
You know what? Not important.
Kittens don't have access to bread technology.
Also, a very good contender for the title. Very good. And look. I'm sorry. I sometimes stray down weird paths. The point is, I gave the kitten some chicken, and she seemed very appreciative of this. I tried to give the kitten water, but she like turned her nose up at it. Like I make a full bowl of water, and she's like, no. And I'm like, are you just not thirsty, or is this like a kitten thing that I just don't know about? So, like, I let it into my home, and it just, like, searched around and, like, climbed on all my stuff and stepped on my keyboard, which is like, a joke on the internet. My cat's on my keyboard. Like, went right for it. Like, would not stop jumping on my keyboard. I was trying to watch a YouTube video, and it kept stopping. And I couldn't...
Was it a YouTube video of cats stepping on keyboards?
No, but that would have been great.
Was it a YouTube video about the metrics of YouTube videos about cats stepping on keyboards?
Oh my god! It slept
Did
on
you
my
happen
belly,
to have your
and
camera nearby?
I took one picture of it. It slept on my belly, and I was like, I wasn't planning for that to happen. I just lie down in my bed, and then it just curled up. And was like, this is a good enough spot. I don't want to keep a cat. First of all, it's against my lease. I'm like literally not allowed to. But I was like, oh, this cat is so cute though, and it keeps rubbing its face on my face. So I didn't want to send it to a shelter. Luckily, my ex-wife was like, I want a cat. I was like, you can have the cat. That way I can save the cat, but not really take care of it. So I bought her a bunch of cat stuff like litter and whatnot, because I didn't want to be like, here's a cat, also pay for it. So I bought her a bunch of like cat stuff and delivered the cat. The cat is now named Lara Croft. because that is what she named it. This is not private information, by the way. It's like all over both of our Twitters. So yeah, like she has a cat now, and I'm going to see the cat soon. I like the cat a lot. I just I shouldn't have one, is what I'm trying to say. I just shouldn't. I shouldn't have a pet. I mean, I'm not allowed to, but I should.
Are you going to hold it over the cat's head that you saved its life?
I think it's going to
again and just be like, "Hey, cat,
it's probably going to forget
remember me?"
about me. It's probably going to forget all about that encounter eventually. I don't know how smart cats are, or if their memories are any good. I don't remember the stuff I did when I was a baby, and this is a baby. So, whatever. Anyway, the cat is super cute. I kind of love the cat, but I also am more comfortable with it being raised in a different environment. It should have a house, and that's where it is now, like a big house. I'm just in my tiny apartment, and my apartment will be even tinier when I move, because I don't need so much space when it's just me. Anyway, that's it. Cat update. A lot of people asked me about the cat on Twitter. Because people like cats. So if you wanted a cat update, that is the cat update. That's it. It's very, very cute.
I saw more than one person who was like, "Oh, I was going to ask about the cat for Word Funk, but I guess he doesn't have it anymore."
No, I mean, I still have contact with the cat, but I am no longer the cat's owner. I was for like an hour.
Yeah, the lawyer is mediating contact between the cat and Leon.
Yeah. Martin asks what Johnny and I would have named the cat, because the question is, did Leon's cat get a name? You answered that.
Whiskers, the gun hand.
I temporarily named it Pumpkin just because I didn't want to keep saying cat. But that doesn't. I guess that doesn't count anymore. Go ahead, Austin. What is yours? Johnny's is great, by the way.
Ghostface Killer.
Oh,
nice.
It's pretty good.
Okay, do you guys have anything else? I have more stuff before questions if you want to. It's up to you.
I don't think I do. My whole week kind of got like reset yesterday with the pain. Like I don't remember anything before the hurt. I feel like a new man. I feel cleansed by fire.
Oh.
Only, stomach pain.
Well, it's all uphill from here. Because it can't get that bad again.
No. It's gonna.
Oh, God. All right, so I'm just going to keep talking until someone stops me. Do you guys know about, and that's, I guess, a bad way to segue into a question immediately, because then you're going to have to start talking. But do you guys know about law school cold calling?
No, I don't. But you can tell me.
I can. I was just
Do
seeing
you
if you
call
guys
people
had
up and ask them if they need lawyers for free?
No, I didn't really know about this before I started. Apparently, it's like infamous. I've had multiple professors tell me that there's like a famous like Oscar-winning movie about it called Paper Chase, I think. And I guess it was based on a book, which is also like well known. But so I guess to set the scene, in most school that I've experienced, and I assume in most places, at least in America, the way school works is you go and you sit down, and then a teacher talks, and occasionally like asks for like a question, and then you raise your hand and they call on you. Like, is that everyone's experience here?
Yeah.
What?
Leon, were you just not listening?
I was, but I just don't know what you mean. I'm sorry.
Is that your experience of how school works? You go in, you sit down, the teacher talks, maybe has a PowerPoint slideshow or something, and then occasionally says, "Does anyone know?" And then they raise their hand, and then you call on them. And
that is what my classroom experience in pretty much all grades was like. I guess.
What about you, Johnny? Is that
I had a slightly more esoteric experience at school, given the focus of my studies.
Oh yeah, because drama stuff. But I meant even like elementary or middle school. Just like that's like school when people say school.
I guess, yeah, that fits the popular conception.
All right, so that's my experience too, which is why I got through most of school by like sleeping or just not giving a shit because you never really were required to. Law school is not that though. So every day we have like a jillion pages of reading, and then when you get to class with like 50 other people, they say like the professor will just say like, "Austin, why don't you explain to us like Walmart v. Johnson?" And then for the next half hour, I am the teacher now. And
oh God!
And they just it's very stressful, but also very clever because everyone has to do their reading every night, or you get your skeleton ripped out in front of everybody. Like,
Austin, that's actually a more drama school-like experience than you might think. Where you go off and you read Henry V, and then you walk in the next day and someone goes, Johnny, will you be Henry V? And you kind of got to walk up there and be like, what's he that wishes so? My cousin Westmoreland. Faith, cousin! Or else, you kind of get told that you're horrible.
Yeah. I assume there are other areas where they have equally strenuous things, but this was new for me in that, like, you cannot ever take it easy. And it works because everyone does their reading because you don't want to get called on and not know it back to front. Or I assume, besides the social humiliation, there's also the grade penalty. The only thing you get graded on is the final exam, and then like the participation stuff. So there's a very intentional, intense pressure to it, which makes sense. But one of my teachers does it a little differently, and I think it's really clever as well. The first day, they handed out like index cards where we had to fill out with like specific information. So it was like name, email, your undergraduate major, just like basic stuff that they probably should have on file already. But one of them was just like a song from your playlist. And I put down I put down Birdhouse in Your Soul by They Might Be Giants.
Yeah, right.
Which is a great song that I've only just realized what it's about. I think I talked about that on one of the lost episodes of Word Funk. But so I didn't really think much of it because I thought it was just like a getting to know you thing. But the way this guy does it is before we get to class, he already knows who he's going to eviscerate in front of everyone. Okay. So like 5 minutes before class starts, he plays like a shuffle of like the songs of the people he's planning to kill. And so if you show up like on time, you have a little bit of advanced warning. Like you still have to have done your reading, and that's why I think this works, because it doesn't mean that you can like just slack off and then catch up because there's 60 pages in 5 minutes. It's impossible. But you're psychically prepared in ways you aren't in the other classes, because if I hear it, I know like, okay, I'm gonna get called on. Do I know the fact pattern? Like, do I know the arguments? Like, okay, I'm good. In the other classes, I sit there for an hour and a half in rigid terror that at any moment I could be up on the chopping block. And it's actually kind of like too much sometimes. Like if I haven't slept enough or something. And it's just like, ooh, this is going from like tense to like unpleasant bodily. But I think that's a good balance there, where you still are like beholden to the material, but you also like, if you're not up, then like you can relax a little bit. And I think that's cool. So that's like that topic. Any thoughts on that? Does that sound like too much?
I don't really have any thoughts on that.
It sounds like something I would not want to be a part of at all. Which is weird because eventually I became a teacher and became completely comfortable, talking, explaining things to my students. But like the idea that I would be explaining things to the students while someone else was like checking to see if I was right, it would add like a weird layer to it. Like when I was a teacher, every once in a while, like one of the higher up faculty, like the assistant principal or principal, had to be in my room while I was doing that, and I'm like, I can't just pretend you're not here. Like I can't. So I just feel like really self-conscious now. So yeah, like in a classroom setting, I imagine that would be much, much worse. So wait, like, have you been the chosen one yet?
Oh yeah, in every class.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. How'd you do, Austin? How'd you do? Were you the ear?
I think I did fine. Like it's such a like stressful event that even if you know all the answers and you answer it like immediately and everything, it still feels like you went through an ordeal. Like I felt picked on, even though I know I wasn't. But I feel like I did well.
How do you feel about public speaking? Is that one of the things? Does that get to you?
I would have said yes, like a couple years ago. For most of my life, I was really uncomfortable with it, but I think podcasting has helped a lot. I just like talk now, like kind of naturally in a way that I can just like disassociate from the being there part and just pretend like I'm podcasting.
I've always said to people who ask like, hey, like what's a good to podcast? I'm always like, talk. You know, and it doesn't even have to be to people. Like, read things aloud. Get used to speaking. You'll find it happens quite naturally. Once you
that's
develop a talent for it.
That's obviously part of it too, right? Because litigators have to get up in court and talk. So, like, rather than have like individual talking classes, which I'm sure some places probably do, but like just baking it into everything probably saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
So it makes sense there. It's funny because I've said this before, that like all the professors are like suspiciously nice, and they're like super like cool and respectful about all this stuff. They're like, if you know, there's like past policies, like if you like have a family emergency or something, you can like send them an email before class and they won't rip out your intestines and stuff like that. And that's the perception of it too, for this movie that I've never seen, that apparently is like infamous for just showing this. I think the guy who won like the best supporting actor or whatever is like the professor who just like is sadistic about it. It's like got a reputation.
I'm gonna look this up now.
But it's funny.
Trace,
like,
you said it was called?
I think it's called Paper Chase. Yeah.
Paper Chase.
But like one of my classes, somebody
Uh-oh. Is it The Paper Chase 1973 or The Paper Chase 1978?
It looks like 73, considering this is the one that's an Academy Award-winning performance.
No, I think you're wrong. I think it's the other one, which is a TV show.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I love Leon's laugh. It gives me life. But somebody volunteered me in one of our classes. Someone's like, "Oh, what do you guys think about the material?" or something, and someone was like, just like shouted out. I think Austin's answer was good. I don't know if they were trying to put me on blast or what. And then I made like a joking kind of like show of being embarrassed, because that's like my sense of humor. And she actually sent me an email after class apologizing. If she's like, "I'm sorry if I put you on the spot. I felt so bad after class." And I was like, that is above and beyond. Like, not only did you not embarrass me, but if you had, like, that would mean a lot to me. Most teachers like crush children's dreams for fun. Like, we're adults. Why do you care so much? Why are you so cool? So it's, the whole thing has been,
I think you're finding you're finding yourself in a situation of cultural relativism, Austin.
Yeah. How so?
Insofar as that, I think that most of your experiences growing up, and your experiences at a prestigious law college, might be a little socially dissonant.
I suppose, yeah. This is like, it is like a totally different thing. Like, I feel like I can just leave shit like in the library and like go do something and come back. Like, I'm not worried about people like stealing my shit the second I leave a room, like in Florida public schools.
Oh God, I would never do that, even in like the nicest school.
No, people just leave their computers like sitting and just like walk away or whatever. Like, there's cameras everywhere. You have to have a special card to get in the building. Like, what's going on? Like,
okay.
And everybody needs a yoo-hoo break every now and then.
Basically. Yeah. So I could go on. The only other thing I wanted to say specifically to get on the record of this episode is that I have an assignment coming up. I think we have like the whole month to work on it. And it was like to examine a situation and then write like a legal briefing, going through and analyzing it and what's available for the prospective client. And so in the paper they sent out for the assignment, there was a link and it's like, here's the thing you need to analyze. It was a YouTube video. And I clicked on it. And I got like 4 seconds in before I just angrily stood up and slammed my laptop closed and walked away, because what that YouTube link was that motherfucking what you say meme. You guys know that? The original source of that? I've never seen the OC before. For anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, there's a TV show called the OC, and there's a really dramatic scene where a bunch of people like fight and then shoot each other, and it's become like a meme. And they asked us for a fucking assignment to legally analyze it, and I was like, that's something I would do on WordFunk as a joke, but it's like an actual thing I have to do for class.
So do you also have to talk about copyright violation because they use that song, or basically it's just murder?
It's listen.
My question, Austin, is. So, what you say?
I think that I'm going to actually answer this question. Is this admissible as the assignment? I think that the the woman in the scene who actually fires the gun is probably in the clear, because when she shows up, it looks like there's a life and death struggle. People are being choked and stuff, so she is justified in using lethal force. Legal force is something else. That's what I use. Lethal force to end what appears to be a lethal struggle. The other guy, not so much. He shows up. He basically makes threats and then tackles the guy. So he instigates the violence and therefore is probably not in the clear for what happened there. And then the other guy is also apparently a rapist. I don't know the OC, but it's from context clues. It appears the one guy is bad. So
what if she showed up and threw a copy of Lethal Enforcers at him?
Nice. Oh man. All right, I'm done and I'm done for now. If anybody else wants to jump in.
Like I said, I got nothing. There are things that I did. We had Canadian Thanksgiving this week. Yay for us.
Cool.
Already?
Well, there's a reason why, Austin. Is because it's autumn already here.
Yeah. It is technically here, but it's still kind of hot.
I know, but you guys get like a couple extra weeks where it's sort of like, hey, we don't have to cut the corn yet. We cut the corn. The corn's gone.
Nah.
Goodbye, corn. If you wanted to see a corn maze, you gotta go somewhere else.
Florida only has 2 seasons, wet and dry.
Yeah, and I don't like either of them.
Sounds terrible.
But, so yeah, we did that. That was on Monday. I went and had a dinner with my extended family, who were all, like, getting to the age now where... I mean, all my little cousins, like my cousins' kids... are all getting to the age now where it's like, I remember that age, and being at these events, and being bored. So that's making me feel old. And I probably watched some stuff as well, but I can't.
Yeah. I haven't had time to watch anything really besides Luke Cage, which I mainlined, and then JoJo. They're up to Highway Star, guys. Oh, it's so good.
I don't know what that means.
You will.
Is that like an episode?
It's an arc with the guy whose stand is Highway Star.
Oh.
Did you like read JoJo before you watched it? So you're like up on these things? You're all up on these things?
I watched the anime for the first couple seasons, and then when there was no more anime to watch, I read. So, yeah, now I'm all up on it.
Okay. It's just, I don't know what that... I'm not sure.
You're still back when the stands are Egyptian gods or tarot cards, but they run out of those because there's only so many.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to remember... I think the last episode I saw... I had to stop in the middle of an episode that I was watching on Saturday because I had company come over. I think who was it? It was the guy with the miniature stand that got in Joseph's ear. That was the last one that I saw.
Yeah, I think that's Lovers, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Lovers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the last
That guy's an asshole.
complete stand that I saw.
All right, so do you guys want some questions?
Sure, hit me.
All right. Jade-O-Lantern is the spooky Halloween name of our question asker. Jade wants to know, if I mailed a unicorn mask to Leon, would he be willing to wear it for a Halloween episode of Renegade Cut, I assume,
Okay.
on screen?
There's so many things why that wouldn't work.
You do on camera sometimes.
Occasionally I do, but I don't have anything planned on camera until the end of the year, when I do my worst movies of the year thing, which I sort of like allowed myself to do because it'll probably get good hits. Yeah. Anyway, but the main problem with that is I don't want anyone to have my address. So
That's what P.O. boxes are for.
yeah, I guess I could do that, but people probably should not send me things. I know a lot of people who do shows on the internet, do that. Like, hey, send me the thing, and I'll do the thing, or just send me shit, give me things. Some people say I'm not comfortable with that at all. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. If I had a unicorn mask, I might take a picture of myself wearing it. as a joke. Oh, I have an update on unicorns. I don't know if you want to hear it.
I would like an update on unicorns, yeah.
Okay. Well, two things. You know how bad I am, how uncomfortable I am, like putting labels on myself. But one thing I definitely know that I am, because the Sorting Hat said so, is a Hufflepuff. And I'm very happy about that. And I just found out that my this is all Harry Potter bullshit, everyone, but you just got to deal with it. I found out my Patronus, which was selected for me because I had to click a bunch of questions and answer them based on my personality, is a big white horse, and I'm very excited about this. It knew.
Austin, could you explain what a Patronus is to somebody who doesn't really give a damn?
It's like it's your spirit animal. That's it. You don't have to say it any more than that.
Okay.
It's like the
Thanks,
Harry
Dan.
Potter. It's like the Harry Potter equivalent of Stans.
No, it's not that. Please, it's not. It's super not.
So
I think it is.
Motorcycle cop?
That your Patronus is a motorcycle cop. We've talked before that you guys are defo Hufflepuffs. That was never
Yeah.
in question, but I
Yeah,
do like
I
getting
mean,
confirmation of your Patronus.
It was confirmed by the website that I am definitely a Hufflepuff because I answered questions and it is the computer was wise. Anyway, sorry.
I don't
just
know
felt
what
like talking
I don't know my Patronus is. Sorry to cut you off, but this is like very relevant to your horse thing.
Sure.
But both my Chinese zodiac and my other zodiac, is there a name for that one? Just the zodiac is horse for Chinese, and then I guess Sagittarius, which is like a horseman. So I'm also like pretty into the horse lifestyle, as I guess you are too. So I don't know if you guys want to like subscribe to like an Oats of the Month club or something. I feel like it would do us all some good. That was my horse joke for the episode. God, this is a bad show. Do you guys want more questions?
I think it's probably time to move on.
Yeah? From just the show or the questions?
From that question, at the very least.
Okay. Did you guys not like my horse joke, or what was up?
I loved your
You
horse
can
joke,
keep it,
Austin.
Austin. It's cute.
Creature asks, what is...
Hi, creature.
I was waiting for that. That was the hesitation. What is your most cherished possession without practical utility? Oh, I see. Okay, there was a weird silence. I don't know if Leon's going to edit this out, but I thought it was them not liking my joke. It was Leon tweeting instead of paying attention.
Yeah, no, I wanted to do something. No. Our most prized possession that has no practical application,
Yeah.
just purely for sentimental reasons. You're gonna have to come back to me because I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
But, like,
collect
what
anything.
constitutes a practical possession? You know, like, if I say that I've got an impressive, like, CD collection, that's not really practical.
It does something.
You,
like
you
I
do things with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if I can just give like an example, like if someone keeps an old box of love letters, that has no practical application, but it has great sentimental value, and someone might consider that their most prized possession, like that isn't a car. By the way, that is definitely not mine. But I don't know what it is. I have to think about that. You guys,
I
wanna
got
go
rid
first?
of all of mine. Like I think I've talked about this before. Like I live a very minimalist lifestyle because I just kept losing all of my possessions because of life situations. I just could not justify owning any more than I could carry. So like I used to have like I had like a Snorlax plush and stuff that I liked a lot. But like at a certain point it was like I need clothes and a computer. And that's it. And so that's basically all I have. I'm actually looking around my room right now trying to see if there's anything here that isn't school or life, like living related.
I have a sword.
Cool.
That qualifies. Come on.
I mean, the only way it's has no practical. Well, have you skewered anyone with it?
No. I mean,
Well,
and that's like...
then it has not yet had a practical.
I could ostensibly skewer someone with it,
Sure.
but it's not like on my bucket list. I'm not like, oh man, I can't wait. It's gonna be so messy.
I think sword is a winning answer. I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to top that.
But I've also got like a VR helmet that's pretty cool.
No, that's recreational.
So
I don't think it's within the spirit of the question. You definitely like make an argument that like the way it was worded, but
I'm just trying to establish parameters here.
yeah, I bet.
I'll jump in.
But if you guys want to go with sword, I'm comfortable going with sword. It's a pretty cool sword.
Cool. I like things that are cool. But the only thing I can think of that I like keep that I absolutely cannot use any longer for any real purpose is and this is gonna sound dumb, but like whenever I go to a convention, I am given a badge, and it is useful for that weekend, but it is never useful again. But I keep them and I collect them, and that sounds like that should not have any great sentimental value. But I met most of the people who are close to me in my life at conventions, especially the first couple ones that I attended. So they are significant, I guess. Mm-hmm. But and if that doesn't sound like a big deal, it absolutely might not be. But again, I just don't buy things that aren't for a purpose, is what I'm trying to say. I once bought a painting, but I don't have it anymore. But like I that's just not the way in which I purchase or collect things. I don't really collect things. I guess
have a couple of leftover. I have a couple of leftover relics from my dad too.
Okay.
That are pretty important to me.
All right.
I have a watch, and an old tarnished Saint Christopher.
I don't know what that means. Could you explain?
Saint Christopher's. They're sort of like travelers' pendants.
Oh, okay.
One of my favorite saints of all time, just because how batshit stupid the story is. Where basically, like, Saint Christopher is this dude going for a walk, and he comes upon a river, and on the side of the river is a baby, like just hanging out. Saint Christopher's like, "Baby, what are you doing at this river?" Baby's like, "Yo, I want to cross." St. Christopher's like, "You shouldn't be crossing no rivers, baby. Let me help." So he picks up the baby, walks across the river, puts baby down on the other side, and is like, "See ya, baby." And baby's like, "Yo, my name's Jesus. Look me up someday." And that was the last time he saw him.
Leon, what's your favorite saint?
I'm sorry, Austin. He left a baby on the side of a riverbed.
No, I agree. It's a good story. My favorite saint is Saint Jude because it's both the saint of, I think, children and lost causes, which is like redundant. Because, okay, I'm not going to explain that joke. I was looking around my room for stuff that counts for this question, and I
Austin,
found
quick concluding, because I told the story. I didn't say that Saint Christopher then became the patron saint of travelers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when you buy necklaces or, like, relics with his image engraven upon it, it's supposed to be good luck for whenever you go traveling. Oh. So my dad had this really old, tarnished silver St. Christopher that I still have. That, for some reason, is important to me because of him and a Tom Waits song. So...
Mm-hmm. And I have to follow up your, like, really super earnesting with my dumb joke.
No, what do you got? Socks?
I was gonna say I have like a squishy ball, like it's not a koosh ball, but the balls you can hold in your hand, and you squish them and you can throw them and they bounce.
Yes.
The University of Florida, not Florida State University. Sorry if that's confusing for international listeners, but the other big university sent me it as part of their paperwork that they sent over, trying to get me to go to their school. And I threw the paper in the trash, but I kept the ball. I don't know why. So that's the non-utilitarian thing I own.
Because it's evidence of Austin Yorsky, law student of fortune. They all wanted him, but he only chose what was best for him.
Well, I chose what was in the city I already lived in.
Yeah.
Not moving to Gainesville. Are you nuts?
What was best for him, and also convenient.
I got a question from Brent here, who brings up the Florida Gators again, UF, and I'm not going to go into it because it's a football thing. But if anyone out there listening is like, "Oh, I'm going to troll Austin because of all the football teams he likes are bad," like, I already know. It's okay. Like, you can't hurt me any more than they've hurt me.
Like, poking fun at Austin is a great joy for me. But I can't even imagine even wanting to care about football.
If you really want to go after him, you have to go after his favorite cricket team. But
I would have to like learn about sports in order to make fun of your sports teams, and that would just be like, not even worth it.
It's quite an investment for very little payoff.
It is. I'm sorry, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. Let's get to the next question.
The Dragenda asks, what dumb race do you wish someone had picked for the party in your D&D campaign? If you're not listening to Dice Funk, first of all, you're fucking up. It's a really good show. Second of all, a lot of the humor comes from what a just garbage party composition y'all brought to the table. A unicorn, interdimensional elf, a plant, and then just Johnny's regular ass. So, is there anything like, I know we're talking about season 3. I don't know if we want to give that farm away yet, but I've heard some dumb ideas. Is there anything that you guys had floating around that's maybe too dumb to ever use, and so we can discharge it here?
I honestly, I haven't decided whether or not I'm committed to season 3 yet.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about that here? Because I actually do have an update.
Okay, I mean we can. I've thrown out a couple ideas on this podcast already, but I should probably keep like exactly what mine's going to be like under wraps.
I would do that. Well, okay. So here's what I want to say, and I guess you can cut this out if it's not interesting or if you don't want it. But so there are 4 slots for season 3. That's as most as I can like edit and still live. Sketch and Lauren both went in, so that's 2. Both Johnny and Leon are currently undecided, which is fine. I don't mean to pressure anyone.
I'm leaning towards yes. This has become like sort of like part of my week, and since I'm about to have a lot more time on my hands, I feel like I can pretty much commit to season 3, unless like some disaster happens. But I'm like a soft yes.
I only just want to get some things kind of figured out. I've had a pretty tumultuous year, particularly the second half of the year. I haven't really had an opportunity to talk publicly about it. Maybe soon that's going to happen. I don't know. There are some certain things that I kind of want to get locked down before I make it a public matter. Because, I mean, you guys know me. I don't really have that much problems talking about, intimate things. But this particular subject matter, as well as just a couple of other aspects of my life, I would really like to get in working order before I say, yeah, I think I can do it. Because while I do have fun, like a lot of the time when I'm planning out my week or when I'm trying to work things out, I sort of go, oh, God, yeah. I can't. I've got to do Dice Funk on Tuesday.
And I think it's absolutely insane that I have asked you guys to spend an hour a week with me pretending to be elves or whatever. It's like, you shouldn't have agreed. It's just a bad option for you. You can do better stuff with your life. But for me, obviously, it pays my bills, so I'd like have to get this stuff nailed down, especially with how hectic my life is becoming. Yeah. So I have been kind of like putting out some early feelers, and I don't mean to pressure you guys or anything. I just want to be like open, and just have this conversation. In that someone else has approached me about being in season 3, or I guess I came up in conversation. So there's Sketch and Lauren defo, Leon maybe, and then this other person who's like, I don't know if I want to say, because like listeners probably actually know this person. I just don't know if it's appropriate to say right now. But like that's like a thing that's in play, and I guess I wanted to run that by you guys so that it didn't come as a surprise later.
No, that's fine. 2 things, like I'm like 99% in. Like that's you really shouldn't have to worry about my slot. I would sure like to know who it is. You don't have to say on the air, just because we have a big community and some people hate me. I'm joking, but I genuinely would like to know who it is.
Yeah, I mean,
in case it's
here, why don't you type it in the chat, Austin?
Yeah,
and then we can all go, ooh.
There's literally like half a dozen people who, for one reason or another, I wouldn't say we're enemies, but they're people I don't like to be in the same chat room with. I don't even know who that is.
Well, then there you go.
Yeah, like, am I supposed to know who that is?
So we're leaving this part. You want to just? He's like not to throw any shade. He's the funniest motherfucker that I know, and that's not because you guys aren't funny. You're very funny. He's just like supernaturally so.
Okay.
He's sharp. He is a sharp fellow.
I'm putting it on. I'm trying to figure out who this is.
Okay. I would send you. I've podcasted him with him before, so I could just like direct you to some episodes or something because he's just the fucking best. So I'm excited to work with him, and he's actually like looking into. He doesn't know how to play D&D, so he's like, "Oh, I want to look into it because I want to like do this thing." So that's what's happening. I don't know how like enthralling that planning stuff was for everyone, but
if you wanna lock things down a little bit closer to your I'm not sure what your calendar's looking like for the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3, Austin, but if you wanna set a time limit, like lockdown, and be like, I need to know by now. You let me know, and I'll give you an absolutely definite answer when when that time comes. Or if you just want to go ahead and say that you want to shake things up or something like that.
I would give you a date if I knew it. I unfortunately don't. I think we're past the halfway point in season 2 because there's prologue, 4 areas to explore, and then end game. And you guys have explored 2 of the 4, so we're past the halfway point.
Right.
In terms of content, obviously you guys could lollygag or just run around in circles, slap each other on the butt for an hour every week. I can't control that. So, but that's where I'm at. That's my update.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, I'm basically in, and the other 2, and we'll figure out. You'll figure out the 4th spot. I googled this person. I am aware of who this person is now, but I don't think we've ever crossed paths.
All right. I would send you a clip of him being hilarious, but I assume you've just not listened to it because that's the kind of person you are, and I've made peace with that.
He's a very handsome geek boy.
Yeah. Aren't we all though?
No.
I'm like
Johnny
3/4. I'm like, oh Jesus. Okay.
Johnny's very handsome. You're. I've seen you. You're all right.
Thank you, Leon.
Like I don't want to like rank us because then I'm gonna be one of those guys who like gives number assignments to people to attractiveness, and I hate those people. So I'm just gonna leave it there.
I mean, we've got it, Leon. You painted a pretty clear picture.
Look, we've all decided Johnny is just like way better looking than us, and that's okay. We just have to accept this as part of our dynamic.
I gotcha. I'm looking through these questions, and some people are asking our thoughts on recent politics stuff, and like I just don't have the psychic, emotional, spiritual energy.
That's okay.
I don't even want to say his name anymore. Like I'm just done.
I'll just say this. I'm of the mind that like as horrible as this creature is, I'm now like almost comfortable with the idea that I don't really think he's going to win it. So I'm not worried anymore. That doesn't mean I like him anymore. I'm just sort of like over being worried about what's going to happen to this person. I guess I should mention here, we've talked about this off air, but instead of recording on Wednesday, the day after election night, this coming November, we're actually going to be recording while the election is happening, conceivably still be up in the air. But now it's well, we don't know for sure what's going to happen. But basically, I like the idea that either something terrible is going to happen and we get our hot takes, or otherwise we'll just say, good enough, if the other thing happens. And so anyway, that will happen. I'll try to like edit it super quick and have it out for people while the nation is still reeling from the idea that we have a new we'll have a new president.
Sure. Irving Royale asks, what are your favorite fall traditions / activities? Do you guys get just buck wild with them pumpkins?
I'm not really able to do much Halloween related stuff, just because like where I am, the idea of carving a pumpkin and putting it on my stoop it's just that's insane. In my neighborhood, it will disappear like immediately, like before it hits the ground. So that's not possible. I simply will not be home to hand out trick-or-treating candy, which disappoints me because that's like one of the things that I looked forward to at being an adult was handing out trick-or-treating candy to people. But for reasons, I just will not be home, unfortunately, that night. So that sucks. I thought about going to like a haunted attraction like in the area because we have a bunch of those. And I'll see if I do that. But I don't really have any traditions when it comes to fall, I don't think. Except that night when the clocks go back and I can sleep an hour or more. It's like my second favorite night of the year. So it's like I'm kind of joking, but no, in all seriousness, I get really excited about it. It's a big deal.
It's funny, but it also reminded me of something that happened with Clam recently. I guess this is Clam.
Oh, tell me
Clam time.
This is Clam Corner. He got like super wasted some night. I wasn't there for this, obviously, but I heard about it the next day. And apparently they were driving in the car, and he was just, shellacked in the back seat or something. Mm-hmm. And it was like, 3 or 4 in the morning. He's like, man, daylight savings times really fucked me. This was like a week ago. It wasn't even close to daylight savings time. Apparently, he just thought an hour of time he lost because of being fucking wasted was somehow daylight saving time's fault. And
I still feel like that he knew that was a joke. But
no.
Again, I don't know him well enough to know if that's true.
That's just who he is as a person. Okay.
All right.
I just like.
All right.
I love autumn because it's the beginning of warm drink season.
Do you need a season for that?
Summer.
Oh, Canada. Never mind.
Summer is like. I don't mean like hey, have a hot coffee. I mean like warm alcoholic drinks. I really like warm booze, but like.
Okay.
So there's like this cherry beer that they make at a Quebec brewery called Unibrew, called Quelque Chose, that's designed to be served hot. Hot sake, I like. And of course, like mulled wine. Like mulled wine is just like, I love mulled wine. Love it. Have either of you guys? Austin, you've probably never had mulled wine before, because that seems to me like something that you would never have a reason to consume in Florida.
I mean, I understand the words you're saying, but they don't mean anything to me. I've tried wine. I don't know what other properties it had besides disgusting.
So mulled wine is basically you get yourself a couple bottles of wine, right? And then in a pot over the stove, you peel a couple of oranges, a lemon, and a lime, right? Throw in like a half a cup of sugar. You can adjust it depending on how sweet or non-sweet you like it, right? And then you squeeze in the orange juice, add like a bunch of cloves, cinnamon sticks, some bay leaves, some nutmeg, some vanilla bean pods, and then like simmer red wine over it to like make this syrup, just so that it like mixes well with the rest of the wine. Once you've done that, you pour in the rest of the wine. And then you heat it up, you get it to a rolling boil so that like all the flavors kind of mix around, and then like you pour it into cups and you drink it hot. So it's like hot wine.
That's neat. I'm drinking Diet Mountain Chill, a store brand knockoff of Diet Mountain Dew from the Super Chill brand that barely exists.
The family of products.
That's the kind of thing that I put into my body. Johnny is like so much fancier with this. Johnny, like everything except the alcohol, actually sounds like something I would drink if offered to me. But the idea of like putting that much time and effort into something that like is gone soon, I guess is what I'm trying to say, is not a Leon thing. No. But I get what you're saying. It sounds delicious.
It really is. It is like, it's one of my favorite things about like chill evenings is like breaking out the fuzzy blankets and making mulled wine.
It's neat.
Love it. Hot buttered rums.
All right.
Too. Hot
right.
buttered rums.
I like how you said it. Do you want to do a couple more questions and then go? Unless we have anything else we need to talk about.
So there's a couple more questions I could do, but I just remembered a couple things I want to talk about, and they're short, but I want to get them in here because they're very recent. One is the other night, I was just like, I don't know, midnight, and I smelled burning in my house. So I got up, went out, and the oven was on.
Like burning hair? Teeth?
Just I didn't really have a specific idea of what it was, just like the general burning. Like
just an acrid heat.
I guess. And I knocked on my roommate's door and I was like, "Are you cooking something?" And like they didn't answer until I knocked a couple times, and then they just kind of were like, no, and I went back to sleep. So I went and I checked the oven, opened it up, and there was like a charred, blackened summer squash in there. Just like coal, basically. So I pulled it out, turned off the oven. I was like, that's weird, and then I went to bed. The next day, this is when we were recording the latest episode of Dice Funk. Near the end of the recording, I started smelling something burning. I went out in the kitchen. The oven was on, and there was a pan on the stove, which was on and had butter in it, and the butter was just fucking burned to the pan. And I opened the oven, and there was a motherfucking summer squash burned black as hell in there, and I was like, "What is going on?"
So what was going on?
I turned everything off, took everything out and off the heat, and I was just like, okay, I got to get to the bottom of this. And I couldn't figure out. I asked like my other roommates, I was like, is that yours? Is that yours? Like, no. And then the other one came home, and it was the one who had said no when I asked if they were cooking something. And I was like, what is going on? And they're like, man, I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired.
Of what? What?
I think the implication here, Leon, is that he forgot absolutely everything.
He apparently, of the last 48 hours, he has worked 24 of them, which has to be illegal. But the point is, he's just so like tired, he just keeps forgetting shit and like leaving stuff around.
I was hoping this was gonna have some kind of like Wicker Man end to it.
Literally, my response was, if you guys are trying to perpetrate an insurance scheme, like, I need to know about it, or otherwise I'm going to keep foiling you. like I am the cog in this machine. Like, I'm going to mess this up. But yeah, and of course, that just got me thinking about, like, how crazy labor is in this country. But whatever, that's another thing entirely. But yeah, almost got burned to death 3 times in the last 2 days. And this leads me... Yeah.
The terrible thing about that is because of Florida's lax journalistic laws, that would be it. Who's like man burns down house due to squash. Yeah. Florida man does.
Yeah, Florida man kills 3 roommates with summer squash.
So did you run a clean on the oven there, Austin? Because whatever you cook in there next is just gonna... It's just going to taste like burnt summer squash, son.
Probably. I have not looked into it. I don't cook much in the oven. The last thing I wanted to say before we run out of time is I remembered a good D&D thing that I think you guys might appreciate. All right. In another campaign. I've played in a couple now, so there's like Dice Funk Season 1 and 2. I've talked about Squid Squad, which became Carlos Quest, which is the one I DM'd. So I've DM'd like 2 things. And there's another one that we played in where my brother made a character who was Harf, the dumbest wizard alive. Harf, Harf. He only spoke one language, which was Harf. It consisted of saying Harf, which we thought was like a Hodor joke, but then he like told us out of character that he actually did know other words, that he was basically like, it was like some kind of psychological warfare. But as enemies, we didn't get to see much of Harf, though, because the whole conceit of Harf was he rolled his stats in the most suboptimal way possible. So he's a wizard, which means everything is contingent on intelligence. So he put his lowest score in intelligence. I think it was like a 5 on a D&D scale of 1 to 20. So he was like too dumb to wizard. He only got like 1 spell. And it wasn't good. Like, he couldn't do anything with it. And so to roleplay his stupidity, he did everything by dice. So like, he picked what spell he was going to prepare by assigning the spell's numbers and then rolling and then picking one. Going with it. He picked his targets by assigning every person in the battlefield a number and rolling to see who he attacked. Like, stuff like that. So here's the Ballad of Harf. Okay. The first and only mission Harf ever ran. Our DM had us go to a giant mushroom to talk to mushroom people, and then we took mushrooms, and then we just wandered the streets high as hell, and then we ran into some like bandits or just ruffians who went to attack us, and then Harf opened the combat by rolling for his spell, which was Fire Blast or whatever, I think Fire Bolt, and then he rolled for his target, which turned out to be himself. And then he blew his own head off. Harf, the dumbest wizard alive. rolled into the first battle high on mushrooms and shot himself in the head in front of everyone on the first turn. And that's how my brother plays D&D. So, if you're wondering if Dice Funk could be any stupider, the answer is yes.
Okay.
I wish more people were open to losing at games. I find very often, with whether video games or tabletop, everyone is so concerned about being good and winning, and I just love when people don't care about that.
Austin, like, I'm like actively like sabotaging my own character.
You still want to win fights, though. You still want to stab.
Those are fun. Those are fun, but I'm really looking forward to the day when Violet bites off more than she can chew. Like, if her head got cut off a couple episodes ago, like if the axe went a different way, I would be like, that makes sense. I'd be okay.
Well, the question is, would you roll a new character, or would you just sit out the next 4 months?
If it were really that long, I would probably roll up something to play along. If we had been like a month or so away from the finish line, probably not. Depends. I would have to sort of like ask you for like out of character knowledge for like how close are we to the end of?
Yeah,
things.
I mean, I don't think there's much secret how far we are.
Yeah, I guess since in this particular quest, there's like a fixed number of like Air Force Triforce pieces we have to put together. Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
And but where you go from there? So we'll talk about this more in the post game show when we finish the season. But so the places to go are fixed, but the order in which you do them is actually super important. And I've been kind of like assholishly vague about that. And then depending on what order you do them, there are like multiple endings that I've thought of, in addition to things that you guys can think of that I didn't, which could be totally pimp as well. So I actually have no idea what the end game is going to look like at this point. It could be short and brutal, or protracted and epic. I don't know. So we'll see.
I think it would be hilarious if, like, for the first 5 seasons of Dice Funk, we always fail, and then finally in the 6th season we win one, and it's like a big deal.
That would definitely make it feel like an accomplishment.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, how about one more question, and then we can just leave.
All right. Let's see here. I gotta find one that isn't very involved, because there's a couple good ones, but they feel like full conversation pieces. You know?
We can like, do it anyway, and like just try to like breeze through it. But it's up to you. It's up to you. I don't know how much time you have.
So, I did not have it up in front of me, so now I'm vamping. Cyretha asks, how do you handle being around friends if one of the people in your group who you used to be good friends with now shuns you? So, is there a way to deal with friend groups in which one of them is not really friend anymore?
I'll just say this. How do I put this? I don't mean this like in a cool way. Like, I'm friends with so many people. No, I don't mean it like that. I am friends, colleagues, and acquaintanceships. I have friendships and like acquaintanceships and like professional relationships with a bunch of people due to what I do on the internet, and we don't all get along. I in terms of people who actually like create videos on the internet, I don't believe I have like any nemesis. I don't have a nemesis or various enemies. There are a few people in our community who are like jackasses, but they're not really in the larger community. They're just dickhead people. But in terms of like the people all of the people that I know, like who do more or less what I do, or who are loosely associated with the things I do, I get along with them. But here's the thing. There's like all these little different groups and different connected friendships, and the Venn diagram of who is comfortable being in the same room as the other, there isn't a lot of there's not a lot of intersection, is what I'm trying to say. I'm sort of like explaining this in a way that's way more complicated than it is. I have a bunch of friends and they don't all like each other, is what I'm trying to say. And there's in terms of what, like, the question, there's levels to it. There's people who don't really like each other but aren't going to be uncivil towards each other if we're all going to be in the same room together. And then there's people who hate each other and absolutely cannot be around each other. And the way I always see it is, how do I put this? Unless one side of the people who hate each other is like so obviously in the wrong in like every conceivable way, and the other side is like is absolutely like the victim in every possible way you can look at it. Unless the situation is like that, and in most things in life, it is not. The best thing you can do with those friends is not only not take sides, but your good friends will not demand that you do. If one of your friends says, you can't hang out with me if you hang out with that person again, then that's the friend you're okay not giving a shit about anymore. Luckily, none of my friends have ever done that to me. But that has happened to people I know. What is the exact question? So I can try to give an answer to this.
I mean, I can read out the whole text again, but I just want to say, as much as I liked your very serious, long, mature answer, I think probably the more direct approach is just to challenge anyone who wrongs you to a duel. And then when you beat them, it really puts the issue to rest because you've taken their honor and they don't have any, grounds anymore. Okay. Cyretha asks, how do you handle being around your friends if one person in the group who used to be a good friend shuns you?
Do you know how to do a sleeper hold?
Okay. Yep. Johnny and I are on the same wavelength.
Okay. Look, the real answer to that, you could be mature about it and talk to this person like, look, I just want to say I know some shit's been between us, and we don't have to be tight anymore, and that's okay. But we both have the same friends, and we're both going to see each other a bunch, so we don't have to be tight at all. But we may as well be civil, just so we don't ruin our friendships with all the people we care about. And that's not even a thing where you have to make peace with someone you might hate or they might hate you. That's just more like an arrangement that is more professional than it is intimate.
It might be nice if people talked like that, but in my experience, they just kind of don't. Like
no,
ever.
no. I largely agree that people generally do not do that. But
it's aspirational.
But even so, like I said, I'm in a community where that actually is a thing where some people, where I know people, this person does not like this person, but this person and this person will absolutely be in the same room together and not have an unkind word to say to each other, because in doing so they will make everyone else uncomfortable. They will not I wouldn't say ruin, but complicate and possibly damage the existing friendships that they have. And again, I'm speaking from a guy who's kind of like in a bubble in this, because the community that I live in is big enough that there is a large fan base, but small enough that everyone knows each other. That's the like, it's like this weird like contradiction. That my experience. Leon. My experience in this, and my feelings are to either squash it, or if it's not going to go away, keep the friendships you have, and just roll your eyes and get the hell over this other person who in the group will not talk to you while everyone else is around.
You see, I say sleeper hold because, unlike Austin, where there's like a finality and a fatality to a duel,
yeah.
I mean, granted at the end you might be like, take the higher ground and be like, no, I spare you with nobility and mercy and humility, but then you're just like opening it up for them to like challenge you to another duel maybe down the road.
Yeah.
But like
to restore their honor.
A properly administered sleeper hold, and they shouldn't even know like where they are when they wake up.
Also, if you kill them, maybe that their family will seek revenge on you.
You have to worry about that. If they are training anybody in martial arts, their student is absolutely required to seek vengeance upon you for the death of their master.
If you're gonna take out the master, you have to take all the apprentices. Don't half-ass it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But seriously,
there's a
serious backup plan though. If the talking it out doesn't work, and this is just kind of the Austin technique, it's just to sleep with all their friends. It doesn't really solve anything. It's just.
fun.
Yeah, I think you win, not the moral. You don't win. Listen, hold on. I shouldn't have said that.
Look, all right. Let me. I'll just say one more thing, since apparently I'm playing the straight man in this conversation. Oh, I just wanted to say, like, there. I mentioned that I have a bunch of friendships and professional relationships and things that are more like friends of friends situations, and I say that I don't. I don't have like any enemies, but so I have to admit that there's kind of like an insecure part of me that is wondering, like, yeah, on my end, but is there like secretly someone out there who just really doesn't like me?
All right, Austin, it's time to confess.
I mean, because you never know what people are saying, like, when you're not in the room, is what I'm trying to say. True. And I am often not in the room. I am often not in the room with people I know, because we live all over the world. But
like, there's another film reviewer called like Leon Tomas, and he's like got a full luscious head of hair, and he just fucking hates you.
Funny, oddly enough, there is a science fiction reviewer called Leo Thompson who does have a
fuck off.
It's
true.
I'm not
it's true.
No, it is. His name is Leo Thompson. He does have a very large head of hair. He reviews science fiction things for Channel Awesome. Nice guy. I think I met him once. He's pretty cool.
He's secretly your arch rival. He's planning your downfall. There's no other way that it shakes out. Sorry.
I was gonna say, truthfully, honestly here, that if you can't promise with this person that shuns you, if you can't, like, agree to be mutually civil and just maybe not interact with each other in the same groups or something like that, all you can do is make sure that your mutual friends understand. Not that, like, don't be like, yeah, they're being such a bitch to me, or, they're being, like, such a dick, or this or that, or fucking, like, you don't have to air your dirty laundry. You just have to say, yeah, well, things have kind of gotten a little cool between us lately, so it might get a little awkward. Okay. I don't want it to. Because then, like, what you can basically say is listen, I'm not telling you to choose between the two of us, because that's just a terrible thing to do. But you can let your friends know that, if you guys all go out bowling together, you don't want to be on Johnny's team. Not that things are weird between us, Cyretha. I think we're okay. You don't want to be on my team because I'm really bad at bowling. I pulled a muscle in my ass doing it once. I pulled a muscle in my ass bowling.
What was your stance like? Were you doing it backwards?
I wish I could tell you, Leon. I wish it had a name. I wish I could, drag up a 3D model slow-mo representation, like on Sportsnet or something.
Okay.
All I got to tell you is that I found out I was doing it wrong right at the end.
It's the Maloney cheek technique, where you just got to clench it and then spin and then release it.
Some people have tennis elbow. Uh-huh. I have bowling ass.
And on that note,
yeah, I guess we should go.
We can't make it any better than that. So.
No, I suppose not. Any last words?
I'm serious. You don't want to be on my bowling team.
Okay.
However, if we're ever playing lawn darts, oh yeah.
Mayonnaise.